Daniel Gomez inspires, and I love people. And I came here to impact your life.
My name is Brad Lee.
I'm Brandon Doss.
All of us are many things.
I am a true definition of an entrepreneur.
Being a good father, being a good son.
And I am the business partner to Grant Cardone.
It's here right now. You're here for a reason.
If you want to be unstoppable, just realize that it's your mindset.
There is no limitation to how much you can succeed personally, professionally, and financially.
There's a difference between a good idea and a God idea.
Then it's your skill set. Then it's your habits.
Other than if you do not commit to bring others with you, you will be limited.
What you need is a God idea. A God idea, watch what I do with this, is God inspired.
They're rooting for that future you.
Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we educate you, and man, we're going to inspire you today. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for our guest today, hometown hero. I call him the hometown hero because when you have a dream, it doesn't matter what obstacles get in front of you, you follow that dream. And that's what I admire about my good friend, movie director. Yes, you heard me right, movie director, Mr. Bert Lopez. Welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. Bert, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I've been looking forward to just conversing with you and interviewing you, and you're doing some amazing things. So do me a favor, give me a short introduction to the Daniel Gomez Inspires audience, so that way they know who is Bert Lopez.
Yeah, well, I'm Bert Lopez. I am born, raised San Antonio. Well, born in Laredo, but actually I always say born, raised in San Antonio. Spent all my life here since I was born. I got inspired, motivated to do film in school. And back in the day, I could not do film because we didn't have the equipment. So I did it on a VHS tape. So I started directing, writing, producing since I was in high school, man.
What? Since high school, look at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go deeper into the conversation with Bert. You heard him, VHS, you heard him correctly. He's a young 21 years old. VHS, people are saying, what's VHS? Well, we're going to go into that here shortly. But this is the part of the show where I tell you, get out your pen and get out your paper, because Bert's going to drop some massive wisdom, and he's going to talk about the film industry. He also has a film coming out here, coming up in September, and he's doing amazing things. So take notes and go back and listen to this episode and share it with a friend. So Bert, so let me ask you this. You started having this idea in high school. What arose in you that you said, I wanna it's one thing to be an actor, but to direct a film, now you got 100 other actors that you got to direct. What inspired you to do something like that?
Well, once again, when I was in high school, even before that, when we were in junior high, my older brother and we lived down the street from a drive-in theater. If anybody knows what that is, it's where cars park. You put a speaker on the window and you see the movie. Okay, well, we lived down the street from one, and we were and when I say we were poor, we were very poor. We never got a chance to pay for a movie. So we would walk over, and there was a hill. And if you sat in that hill, you could watch the movie. So since we were kids, my brother and I, we would walk over to that hill at that drive-in and watch movies. And then I'd go home and reenact these scenes with my brothers and sisters and tell them, look, all of y'all couldn't make the movie, but I'm going to reenact it for you guys right now. So I started very young. This is back before even cable, when we only had 3 channels on TV. So you had ABC, NBC, and CBS, and that's it. And then we finally got KWX in Spanish, Univision. But yeah, the theater, the drive-in, all these old movies, they motivated me, and I said, I'm going to do that one day.
Wow. So you're at the drive-in, you're there on top of the hill, and I can relate because here in San Antonio, Texas, when I grew up, there was a drive-in called Mission Drive-In, ladies and gentlemen, and we would go there. For those that don't know, like Bert said, it was, you actually put a box, you hung it on the outside of your door, well, in the inside of your door, and that's how you heard the movie, and it was just outside. We would take out the back seat of the car, put it in the front. So many memories, man. So many. You're bringing back memories of what you said. So you get the idea in reference to going and to the drive-in. You and your brother go and you listen and you start sharing the story of the movie to the people around you. what in your latter years, as you got into the high school years, what was something that you did? Because so many people get an idea and they never act on it, Bert. Whether it's a
Hmm.
business idea, whether it's a painting idea, whether it's a book idea, but they don't believe it for themselves. What started
Right.
happening to you as you started getting into high school that you started saying, you know what, maybe I can do this or I can get a VHS? Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, no. So it was English class. We told our teacher, well, I told our teacher, hey, for our final, me and the team would like to write a movie, film it, and show it to you guys. And at first he was like, no. And then I said, yeah, of course, it's far-fetched. Back in the day, we're talking in the 80s. And he's like, how are you going to do it? I go, I'm going to borrow my mom's VHS recorder. And since there was no editing, I would pause, record, pause. So when we reenact the scene, I'd have to rewind to the last episode, the last scene, and stop, and then start from there. And I wrote it, and it was a family arguing over a pet. I actually took the story from the Bible of the two women fighting for a child, but this time it was a pet pig fighting for it. So then it was called the pigs in court, and I meant the people. The people were the pigs. I'm like the pigs in court arguing over a pig, and it was a funny story. And so when I showed it to him, he's like, "Oh my God, I got to show the whole faculty this." So he brought in his colleagues. He showed it to a small class, and then he showed it to the whole faculty, and he got the principal involved, and they were like, "Oh wow, we didn't think you could do it." And I did that in a week at school. And the crazy thing is, when I did the movie My Rocking Chair, I went back to my old high school and I asked, "Do you guys still preserve part of the old high school? I would like to do a movie here in my old high school." And they knew who I was when I went to the faculty. And they were like, "Bert, we'd love for you to do a movie here, but the only building standing is the one that was in the middle that had the trade school." Well, the crazy thing is that building was where I dreamt of making a movie,
Wow.
and is the only building standing. So when I
And was that
walked in,
was that in Laredo or was that
no,
here in San
no,
Antonio?
that's here at South San High School.
South San High
So
School.
yeah, so when I walked in, I just couldn't believe that the old building was still there. And
Yes.
I was like, the whole high school got demolished and rebuilt, but that building where God gave me the dream was still there.
Wow. That was a sign, huh?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Uh, you've been producing movies now and directing them,
Hmm.
and we got a movie coming out September 5th called Anxious Mark.
Right.
Now, let's not go there yet because
Hmm.
I've known some of your story, and I really want to inspire some business people. I want to
Yes.
inspire some entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
From the point of this is your longest production, your biggest production that you've done. You had one
Hmm.
that was a detour that came out here a couple of months back. But walk us through the journey. How many times did you fail in the attempt, or did a door close? Because so many people I see around us right now, they have this dream, like you have a dream about being a movie director, and it doesn't go
Hmm.
right the first time. Talk
Hmm.
to us about one of the biggest failures you had to overcome to get to this point, because everybody sees, man, Bert Lopez, you're up and coming, great production as a movie, you and your
Hmm.
partner Roger, but they don't see the beginning of when the struggle was. Talk about what was one or two of the biggest struggles you had to overcome, Bert, to get to where you're at.
Well, the struggles actually continue. They haven't stopped. But the answer no, I've heard more, 90% of the times in movie production, you hear that word 90% more than you hear yeses. Um, as far as when I did my first film, I had to do it with favors, actors that wanted to come up, and all this is passion. We call them passion projects because everyone in it has a passion. They're not looking for a payday. They're just want to exercise their passion. Now, as time progresses, my films got bigger and bigger and bigger, but I s- I made I started making money when I started streaming films, um, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Tubi, and those films have financed the future films. It started very small amounts of deposits, but I would invest all of it in the next film and in the next film and then the next film. And in this last one that I did, Anxious Mark, it took quite a bit, but I still hear the no's because I don't have an investor. I do my own financing for everything. But you hear no's when it comes to locations. You hear no's even from actors. They're like, how much does it pay, or what's in it for me, or and then locations is so many
Let
no's.
me ask you this. Let's stop there, right? So think about
Hmm.
this, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe right now you got your first no, you got your second no, you got your third no, and now you're questioning God and you're ready to give up on the dream that God put inside of
Hmm.
you. How many no's would you say you've gone through, Bert, to get to the point where you're at right now?
Oh my God, I couldn't put a number on it. I hear that so often on a daily, but I'll give you one example, just one example. So we did a scene that you're in, and it's at a hotel, and you're getting evicted. You're getting thrown out by the hotel manager, which I played the manager because I couldn't find no one. But for me to get that hotel, I stopped at 10 different hotels.
Really?
I explained the process. I explained what the movie was about. I go through all this explanation and I tell them your place, your business will be on a film that will be seen by millions. You're gonna get marketing like you can't believe. Would you give me freedom to film here as what I need for one day? And they're like, no, no, no. And then finally, this one guy said, I would love that. Not only did he welcome it, but he said, I'd love that. And then he was a fan. He was there watching and everything and enjoying it. And yeah, so I was so appreciative. But just that one little scene that you saw, I
Yeah.
drove for 6 hours, 7 hours trying to get a yes.
Hold up. Did did you say 10 hotels said no?
Hmm. Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, think about that. 10, not one, not two, not five, 10 no's. I want you to do this right now, Bert. Look into the camera.
Hmm.
And I want you to give a word of encouragement to somebody. Somebody out there right now needs hope. They need
Hmm.
some belief. What would you say to somebody right now that they're the young Bert Lopez? They've been told 9 times and they're gonna give up. They're done. They've already they're frustrated. They're throwing in the towel, whether it's in their business, whether it's in their book, whether it's in their entrepreneur journey. What is it that you would say to somebody out there right now, to our live audience and people listening to us all around the world?
I am going to try to explain it without crying.
No, let us hear your heart, man, please.
Yeah. So, um, the no's sometimes come from the people closest to you. So, I think for the last 20 years, uh, I've been told my dream is far-fetched, but the the passion in me drives me. So I overcome a lot of no's. Um, I have this vision of telling stories through film, and every journey I took, I overcome a lot of objections, rejections, but it's so huge in me, the motivation and passion to succeed. And I move forward and I make it. And every production I've done, I thank God first of all for allowing me to chase this dream, even when your closest ones tell you no. They family members, loved ones, hey, you've been at this forever, why don't you give up? Hey, you've been at this forever, why don't you give up? Um, and it moves me to pursue even more. So when business people tell me no, I'm like, dude, my loved ones tell me no, and that hasn't stopped me. You're not gonna stop me either. I'll go knock on another door. One of them is gonna open, and they're gonna say yes. So yeah, 10 hotels told me no. but the 11th one told me yes and did it with gratitude and did it very happily and was motivated himself because his business was going to be in a movie. So I didn't give up. It took me almost a day, but I didn't give up. And I did that every day for every location that you saw. You saw the one where the motorcycles were in, that guy. And lo and behold, I go in there and I tell him I'm making a film of faith. He's like, I'm Christian. I would love for you to use my business. And I had already asked another 5 warehouses. So yeah, no, I think the passion that God deposited in me is not stopping me. I'm working on 2 or 3 big projects right now. One of them is for Netflix, so that's going to be huge. And then I'm working one that'll be in theaters all over the world. I'm working on it right now with a very big team. That has happened because they've seen my passion and they're big times. I mean, one of them works for Mel Gibson. They're like, dude, we see your passion on the local level. We can imagine what you could do at the big level. You don't stop. You're
Wow.
relentless. You keep going. You don't stop. We see you at film festival. We see you streaming your movies. You don't stop. And I'm like, I don't stop.
Wow. Well, Bert, first of all, thank you for sharing your heart. And ladies and gentlemen, take a moment, write this down. You can learn skill set, but the passion needs to come from within. The ganas needs to come from within. In Spanish, we call it corazón, that grit. It would many times it's the corazón of a person, the grit, and that's what I'm hearing you say right now, Bert. The corazón, right? Your passion for it is so big, and maybe you're listening to us right now here across the country and you're on the other side of the world, and you're thinking like, man, I have the knowledge, but if you don't have the passion, if people can't hear when you talk about your business, when you talk about your dream, when you talk about your book, when you talk about speaking on stage, when you talk about your movie, if they can't hear your belief in what you're doing, how do you expect them to believe, ladies and gentlemen? How do you expect them to believe if you're not believing it with the passion that Bert's speaking with right now? I felt that, Bert. I felt that. And many
Yeah.
people wonder why, man, where's God meeting me at? And well, sometimes the very thing of going through the nose, it's building your character, it's maturing you, it's growing you. And so many people, they want everything microwave nowadays. They want to put it in a microwave for 30 seconds and, okay,
Yeah.
God, give me the blessing. And I can tell you from experience, where we're at right now, and then we've been in business going on January will be 9 years of 2027, but we didn't get here from one day to the next. And imagine, I can relate with you because right now we have the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. But I remember when I started speaking in 2017, when the dream came alive like you, people laughed at me. People made fun of me. And then now that we're winning, they're like, man, you got it easy. No, you don't. You didn't see the days I was crying in the bathroom. You didn't see the days that I was crying. And, and,
Exactly.
and they don't see that when nobody else believed in your dream and you were the only one believing in that. So we're
True.
here, the biggest production movie that you've done, Anxious Mark, and you heard him right. I get to do a cameo. I don't even know what you call it, but by God's grace, I'll be coming out. It's gonna be at the City Base Cinema. Bert, talk to us about Anxious Mark. What is this movie about?
Well, Anxious Mark is a faith-based movie, first of all. It is a 5-part series. And let me tell you that uh, this idea came to me. We were going to do a short. It's crazy. We're going to do a short film by petition for this producer. Said, hey, can you produce a 20-minute film about this and this? His idea was like, okay, we can do that for you. And then, but he was in Miami, Florida, and then I never heard from him back in about a year. And then I had this idea of a comedian that would make people laugh, but yet he was suffering from anxiety and depression. So I met it was crazy how God did this because he put Cleto Rodriguez in my path. He's a comedian and he's going through a struggle right now, a health issue. And I said, Cleto, I'm going to make this movie about this comedian that suffers from anxiety and depression. And we're writing the script right now. I'd like for you to be the lead actor. Of course, Cleto then gave me some notes about his life. So I incorporated part of his life in this film to honor Cleto. And the original story was Jesus meets 5 people at a park the same day. So Jesus walks through Woodlawn, and as he's walking, he's pretending he's walking to get exercise. But every time he stops at a person, that person is going through troubles. So the first one was a man that had no job at a park bench because he lost his son and he went into depression. So that was the detour. The second one he stops at Esqueleto. He's writing a suicide note. But Jesus goes, "Can I sit with you?" And he did. And the third one was a lady that just was reading a letter at the park where she's stage 4 cancer and is given so many days to live, so many months. And then he stops at a homeless. So the whole concept was Jesus walks with you in your problem.
Mm, I love it.
So yeah. So and he finds you where you're at.
Wow. Wow. So
These these
the
people were dealing with their problem at a park. And they went to the park to have that time alone or to release their stress. But that's where Jesus encounters them at the park. All 5 people the same day.
Are you an aspiring speaker? Do you have a book that you've been wanting to write for months, maybe even years? Or are you an aspiring podcaster? You want to start that podcast like the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and don't know where to start? Well, at Daniel Gomez Enterprises, we can help you do all three. We can help you become that paid speaker, share your story to the world, write your book, and get your podcast launched and help you produce it. We'd love to help you. Give us a call at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. We can help you become that paid speaker, write that book, and launch your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call now.
Let me ask you this. It's going to be premiering September 5th, Saturday, September 5th at 7 p.m. at the City Based Cinema here in San Antonio. That's City Based Cinema, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're in San Antonio, if you're in Texas, drive. We're going to have a red carpet. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
What did you learn about walking with Jesus for yourself when you were filming the film? What did you learn about, right? Because the movie's talking about walking with Jesus, but what did you as a director, what did God show you about walking with Jesus for yourself personally, Bert?
Well, you have a cast of actors. You explain the concept to your partner, Roger. Roger had a concept of the film, but like you said, he didn't quite feel it yet. And then when I explained it to him, he's like, "Wow, when you explained it to me, I felt it different now. Now we can write. Now I feel it." Can you do that with 30, 40 actors that are in the film? Because it's one thing to do a faith-based film. It's different to get them to see your vision and to feel your vision. Because acting is acting, but you stop acting when you start feeling God's love and you say, "Oh, this scene I did reminded me of when I was a kid. I went through this." And now we go from filming to ministering to saying, "Man, brother, I went through it too. Let's talk about it." So now the actors are being contributors to your passion and vice versa. So it was an opportunity to create a film, but it was also an opportunity to God speak to each actor, each crew member, and to me. I am by far perfect, by far. I'm like Paul the Apostle, donde yo soy el primero de los pecadores, and it's
For
so true.
the
I feel
for
it
the
every day.
English speakers, that for the English listeners,
Speakers,
he's right. He's saying he sinned too, right? So he's not saying he's perfect. So say
yeah,
that in Spanish
but
again, though.
yeah, como dijo Pablo, el apóstol, de los pecadores yo soy el primero.
Yeah, out of all the sinners, he's one of the first ones. So that's what he's saying. But
Yeah,
so let me
I'm
ask you
right here.
this: what was your takeaway from the process? Because it was very heartfelt. But
Yeah,
what's something that God put in Bert's heart from filming Anxious Mark?
I think forgiveness was the number one thing because the movie's about father and son, the relationship that was created. Here's a little
No, but
boy.
let's talk about you. What did I want to talk
Yeah,
about? We'll talk about the film right now. But what did you
yes.
personally take away from the movie for your that spoke to
I
you?
Yeah, I think that is the forgiveness. We have to, because we can't live with it. It hinders us. It eats up your brain and your soul. Um, when you carry certain things and you don't let them go. And you can carry them 30, 40 years and don't even know it. And it hinders your walk. not just with God, but with friends, family, all that. And I think through these films, not only because I write them, me and Roger, but when we're writing, we're getting ministered to. Just when you're writing, you're not even
Yeah.
putting it on camera yet. You're putting these stories together. And every time we'd write a scene, we'd be crying
Wow.
because God was ministering to us. We did a scene once. For Roger, it wasn't as significant as it was for me because it ministered to me stronger. There's another scene that we wrote that ministered to him stronger than it did to me. But the one with the children, that one hit me.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because somebody right now, you said something that was pivotal right now. They've been walking around for 20, 30 years with unforgiveness in their heart. Maybe they're mad at their dad. Maybe they haven't
Mhm.
forgiven their mom, or maybe they haven't forgiven their boss that fired them. What would you say to a person right now? They're listening to this episode with the one and only Bert Lopez, movie director out of San Antonio. Speak to that person and why maybe they should consider forgiving and releasing that unforgiveness from their heart.
Well, once again, if you walk with it, it eats you up. It doesn't eat the person. It eats you up. When you release that, you will actually release a lot more than what you think. It's not only your potential, but the doors that will open to you in your mind. Let me tell you, when you walk with unforgiveness, you can't write a script. You can't write it. You get writer's block
Wow.
because your brain only has certain capacity. And I explain this to a lot of people: is your brain only has certain capacity. If you walk with hate, unforgiveness, all these things, you can't write a story. You're like in a prison, and you're not free. You're locked in there 24/7. You eat breakfast, you eat lunch, you eat dinner like a regular prisoner at a prison. But you're not free to go out in the world and live your full potential because you're in a prison, and the prison is unforgiveness. It's hate, it's bitterness, it's all these things that eat you up and keep you locked in, and you don't release your full potential because you could write one of the greatest scripts, but you can't because you're walking around with unforgiveness. You could write one of the greatest books,
Wow.
but you live in a prison. That thing's got you locked up. It'll let you out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because we all do it, but we don't know we live in a prison on a daily basis because of what lives in here and what lives in here.
Wow. Wow. Maybe right now you're a business owner and you're listening to this episode and your business is stagnant. It hasn't gone up and it's been decreasing down. And maybe it's not the business understanding that you lack. Maybe you have a lid on your business, right? You put a lid on your business because, like Birch said, of unforgiveness. Maybe your journey has stalled because of unforgiveness. I want you to ask yourself this question, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down right now. Write it down and say the word if. If, if there was someone I needed to forgive, who would that be? If there was somebody I need to forgive, who is that? And ask this question out loud. Write it down, but say it out loud to yourself. If, and say the word if there was someone I needed to forgive, who would it be? Whose name is arising right now? Whose name is popping in your head? And this is the truth. This was the truth for me, Bert. The person I had to forgive was me. I had to forgive myself. So forgive yourself or forgive
Mhm.
that person, whoever God put in your heart right now during this moment.
Sorry.
Forgive them, forgive yourself, and understand that you need to let it go because if not, you're keeping yourself in prison, like Bert said. Wow.
Mhm.
So Bert, so talk to us. I'm grateful to be one of the actors in this amazing movie. Why should someone go see this amazing movie, Anxious Mark? Talk to us about Anxious Mark, brother.
Okay. Well, Anxious Mark, it's about, once again, a comedian that suffers from anxiety and depression. He's carried this unforgiveness with him for about 40 years. That's how old he is in the film. Now, when he was a child, his mama passed away and he was raised by his father by himself. He had a little brother and a little sister. Now, imagine this, because it happens in a lot of Latino families. The older brother becomes the caretaker of the younger brothers, almost like a mom and dad role. And that's very common in our community, the Mexicanos, the Mexican community. Now, this young man grows up at a very young age. He becomes mature by the age of 10, 11, 12. And he not only becomes like their mother and father, but he also becomes their protector for life. When little brother would do something at home, in school, in high school, the older brother would take the blame or defend him. That was his job. Now he's older and his father still doesn't approve of him. And he tried all his life to earn his love. That's why in the movie on the poster it says love is not earned.
Mm. Man, I'm getting
He's
excited
tried.
about it. Let's not give away the whole movie, right? We don't want to give away
Yeah,
You got to come see
yeah,
it,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. San Antonio, Texas, September the 5th. City base here in San Antonio, Texas. You don't want to miss the red carpet event. It's amazing. Come join us. There's still we sold out, right? By God's grace, Bert and the
One
team
theater.
sold out. 250 seats sold already. Thank you, God. There's another theater that's opened up same day, September 5th. Go to City Base Cinema here in San Antonio. Get your tickets. We're gonna have a red carpet. What should they expect? Let's talk about the experience they're gonna have at the red carpet event. Let's talk about that as we start to land the ship here, Bert.
Yes, so at the premiere, you're going to get the opportunity not only to see the film for the first time, but also get to meet everyone that was involved in it, from the camera crews, every actor that was in it that you'll see in the film, you'll see them there. Take your picture with them, get a selfie, because a lot of these actors are going to the next level. And we have some great actors on the film. I mean, we got Jacinto, which is on Landman. JJ's been on Landman and The Chosen. We got our very own, our pride, Cleto Rodriguez. We have so many people that are big. I have
Talk
Brandy
to us about the
Lopez,
red
Soraya
carpet. Talk about the
Lopez.
red carpet. Talk about the red carpet. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
let's get excited, brother. Come on. Why did they got to come experience, ladies and gentlemen? Put it this way:
yeah. No,
there's gonna
and the
there's gonna
reason I
be a
mentioned,
red there's gonna be a red carpet there. You're gonna take your
yeah,
picture. People dress up. If you want to wear a jacket, a coat, whatever you want to wear. The
yeah,
women last time wore nice dresses. It's like a gala.
yes. It's like a gala. I mean, everybody gets dressed up, and like I said, you want to show up like an hour and a half early because the film starts at 7. So you want to be in your seat by 7. And like I said, the reason I mentioned these actors is because I want you to look for them, audience. I want you to look for these people because they're going to the next level. We got up in once again, Soraya Lopez is in it, Johnny Nova's in it, Brandy Lopez is in it. Um, we got so many people that are in this film. And I want you guys to go out there, shake their hands, take their pictures. They'll be dressed very nice. So dress nice for the event, and you'll get an opportunity to meet so many people that are up and coming. You'll get a chance to meet Jacinto Rodriguez, which is in a lot of films. He was in Step Up. I think he was in Pitch Perfect also. He's in just so many films. Um, and now he's with Billy Bob Thornton on Landman. So, and you get to meet Daniel Gomez. I don't know if you guys know Daniel Gomez, but you can take a picture with him.
Well, brother, thank you so much for coming on our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, City Base Cinema. Go right now to that website, City Base Cinema, here in San Antonio, Texas, and get your tickets. Very affordable VIP experience, only $20. Go out there and actually buy 2 or 3 tickets. Before we
Mhm.
end the show, I want to ask you this, Bert. What is a scripture or a quote that you rely on in times of adversity? What's a scripture or a quote that you rely on in times of adversity?
Well, every time I go into a meeting where I meet with investors of big films, I sit in my car and I repeat it like 3, 4 times. I can do all things through Christ. I can't even say it 3 times.
Amen. Woo! Bert Lopez, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, Bert. Man, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this amazing episode this week. San Antonio's very own Bert Lopez, director of the
Mhm.
movie The Anxious. The Detour came out last year, powerful movie. The Anxious Mark here. I'm blessed to be
Mhm.
a part of it. Thank you for joining us, Bert. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Share this episode with someone. Touching moments to this entire episode. My biggest takeaway was this: passion will get you through the adversities. You felt the passion of Bert. Maybe you don't need more skill set, you need more passion. And I want to encourage you, Maybe you need help. Maybe you need to be coached through that. I'm Daniel Gomez, one of the top business coaches in Texas. I love to help you. If you want to share your story on stage here at Sticker Shock International Speaking Academy, September 17th, 18th, and 19th here in San Antonio, we're bringing in some amazing leader speakers that are going to come in and help you get your speaking to the next level, because you're not just going to learn how to speak. We're going to help you how to build a speaking business. Once again, thank you for joining us, Bert. We'll see you, everybody, next week with another amazing guest on the Daniel Gomez Inspires Show. Thank you.
Everybody says to me, I am of God's economy. No one's going to buy your product. No one's going to buy your service until they buy you first. I'm not up here because I did it. I'm up here because greater is the power behind me, which is Almighty God, than any task in front of me. Say this, I must open my heart to receive the message. See, the change has to happen here before it happens here. Because if you're here and you don't open your heart to what God has for you today, you're going to miss it. I want to anchor this in your heart. I want to anchor this in your soul. I'm going to leave here today with my heart empty because I'm going to pour it all into you.